The janitor stepped aside, giving me a long look before saying, "Take care." I nodded and left the office, but his words stuck with me. Something about his tone, his look. It felt off, like he was genuinely afraid. But I wasn't going to let some weird list of rules mess with my head. It was just past midnight when I started my patrol. The mall was eerie at night, much more so than I expected. The dim lighting cast long, twisting shadows along the tiled floors. Every sound felt amplified, my footsteps echoing off the walls, the hum of the fluorescent lights, the distant creaks and groans of the building settling. As I made my way down one of the main hallways, I tried to focus on the task at hand. The mall wasn't huge, but it was big enough to need regular patrols. There were plenty of stores to check, some of them abandoned, some locked up with displays peeking out from the darkness behind their glass fronts. A children's play area stood near the food court, silent and still, the colorful plastic toys looking strange and lifeless under the dim emergency lights. Farther down, I could make out the escalators, still and frozen in their usual ascent, like relics from a busier time. I was getting used to the silence when I noticed something strange in one of the clothing stores. The store door was wide open. I stopped, my flashlight sweeping over the darkened interior. I couldn't see anything out of place at first, but as I moved the beam around the store, I noticed movement in my peripheral vision, a slight shift, like something or someone was hiding in the dark. I turned my head to look directly at it, but there was nothing, just a few mannequins standing near the back, as motionless as always. I sighed and shook my head. Just my nerves. I wasn't going to let that janitor's creepy list get into my head. Then I heard it, the faint sound of clothing rustling. My flashlight flicked back toward the mannequins, and there it was. One of them had definitely moved. It was standing a little closer now, slightly out of position compared to the others. I could feel my heartbeat start to quicken. "Hey, Mr. Janitor," I called out, more out of frustration than anything else. This had to be some kind of prank. He was probably watching me from the shadows, trying to freak me out. But there was no answer. Just the soft, unsettling shuffle of fabric behind me again. I turned slowly, my flashlight scanning the mannequins, and that's when I saw it. One of them had changed positions again, its head now facing directly toward the exit. My breath hitched in my throat. No one else was here. There was no way this was a trick. I backed out of the store quickly. I didn't want to stay any longer than necessary. As I walked away, I kept glancing over my shoulder, and then I heard it. Footsteps. But not normal footsteps. They were heavy, rough, like wood or plastic scraping against the floor. My heart started pounding in my chest. I turned around, and there it was, the same mannequin from the store. It stood in the middle of the hallway, staring at me with its blank, lifeless face. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I could feel the blood drain from my face as I watched it. Slowly, stiffly, it started to move toward me, its joints creaking and groaning with every step. Its movements were robotic, stiff, like a doll being dragged forward. I did what any sane person would do. I ran. I turned on my heel and bolted down the hallway, my footsteps echoing in the vast emptiness of the mall. I didn't care how ridiculous I looked. I just needed to get away from that thing. I rounded the corner, ducking into the hallway that led toward the restrooms. The footsteps behind me had stopped, but I didn't dare look back.